Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Can't Stop Fashion Black Excellence Edition. This is the 4th episode and this is part 2. Now, if you've missed part 1, then you make sure you watch it. Now, I'm Caz Mac and I am one of your hosts alongside this guy over here. And I am the founder and presenter for Now Chat Show UK. You can catch me every single Friday on iLive UK, and that's from 4 to 7 p.m, where it's a platform to inspire, and also we have great music for you.
I am Hendricks, and each and every Wednesday you can catch me on iLive Radio, slipping into darkness between 9 and 11 p.m. Join me for some fun and some great music. Well, it's my privilege and pleasure to be standing next to my beautiful sister Caz, and we are bringing you back to Can't Stop Fashion Part 2. Let's do this. It is our pleasure to welcome you back, swinging into things in true fashion with some unique styles from Gingham Doll.
I remember those days, I'll be drunk on my face, sweating under my lace, in the back of them raves. Now my mentality's changed, I ain't playing no games, so they better make way, cause I'll be bringing that wave. I used to get so high that I couldn't talk, on the 18th floor trying to move up. Never be the one to run when it pops off. Bitch, get in my face, get a stance off. Gotta get my foolish ways. Help remove this pain. All this pain. Cause I've been down a million ways. Finally found my way. I found my way. For all you motherfuckers trying to get in my way, no, do what I gotta do. Mother always told me have a little bit of faith, cause God's the only one who's got you. I've been searching for my lane, trying to find my better days. They be staring at me plain, but they can never call me Jay. Like a beast that can't be tamed, when you shoot, control your aim. Know your places ain't a game, me and them are not the same. Moving on, no more bad energy around me. Strong, so high that I couldn't talk, on the 18th floor trying to move up. Never be the one to run when it pops up. Bitch, get in my face, get a stance off. Gotta get my foolish ways. Help remove this pain. Cause I've been down a million ways. Finally found my way. Dream about it every day, I think about it. Change my ways, now I'm about it. Got me out of feeling brand new, overcoming all the things I've been through. If you only knew what I knew. Moving on, no more. Standing strong, no more. Moving on, no more. I used to get so high that I couldn't talk, on the 18th floor trying to move up. Never be the one to run when it pops up. Bitch, get in my face, get a stance off. Gotta get my foolish ways. Help remove this pain. Cause I've been down a million ways. Finally found my way.
That collection was super unique. Just the way the pieces were adjustable. It's just another example of how excellent we are in innovation.
In full agreement. It's our pleasure now to introduce someone who has deep insights in the creative industries. Welcome, Maxine Griffiths.
Hi, I'm Maxine Griffiths, London's #1 female catwalk and runway coach, creative consultant, conceptual creative at Frame Perfect. I think we're trends on our own. I think we set the trend. I also think there is no one way that any one of us as black people dress. We set the precedents for how people want to look. I mean, look at your top designers. Where do you think they get their culture from? Where do you think they get their ideas from? Where do you think that we actually contribute through our urban streetwear, through the designers and things that we're seeing on the runway today? We are actually major contributors towards the fashion industry. There's no one set way, because whatever we put on, we're going to make it look good. Black British designers. Let's define that first and foremost. At the end of the day, the reality is that a lot of designers are not getting the exposure that they need. One, money. Two, the ability to have fair representation within our community and outside of our community, on the platforms, on the runways, on the shows, on the things that are actually happening within the UK. But what I want to get across as well also is that there are labels and there's logos and there's designers and there's brands. Some people classify themselves as designers simply because they've purchased tracksuits or purchased t-shirts and then they put the brand on it and then they think that they're a designer. That doesn't make you a designer, sweetheart. You haven't even started to put the work in yet. Not even. Anybody can do that. So you're actually just a brand because you're actually buying something else from someone else and then you're putting your brand on it. Logos, t-shirts with fantastic artwork, slogans, quotes, motivation on your t-shirts. They're just simply logos. A designer goes away, gets the fabric, feels the fabric, understands the fabric, goes away and has something that they want to create that will either be wearable. And I say it's kind of wearable art because as a creative myself, I put my clothes on, but then I think about creatively, how does it interpret who I am? So with every garment that I wear, with everything that I see on major runways, on catwalks, on locally and within the industry, when I go to shows, do we have fair representation? Nah, not really. I'd like to see more, a hell of a lot more. Representation from black British designers. High-end, affordable. Everything's affordable if you've got money in your pocket. But I think designers, especially black, British, UK-based designers, need an opportunity to do more. It seems as if you're not part of a certain college, an establishment, haven't attended, that is a lot harder for designers to be recognised. High-end, what do we class as high-end? We class high-end as somewhere where we're going somewhere glamorous, that ball gown, that dress, that brand. Everything can be high-end. It just depends where I think people want to pitch themselves and how they feel about what is high-end. What I have on today could be classed as high-end. It's just how you put it together. Affordable, always going to be a problem, always going to be an issue, because you've got to take into consideration with the designer, the fabric, the time, the designing, how they put it all together. Everything can be affordable, but affordable to whom? Depending on where your own price range is. So I think on an overall, there needs to be more opportunity for designers to be actually able to showcase, to create, to do what it is that they do best. With the current climate that we're in, I think all of us have now had to find a way to pull together collectively, creatively, to establish something that may never have been done in the UK before. People of colour, black, British, designers, models, photographers, the whole creative industry on a whole, especially that what affects me and what I'm doing. When I was doing the model workshops, I found that I had a lot of young black girls, guys coming through, but didn't actually understand the commitment that had to be done. So my advice to you, stand up for who you are, be a voice, be the change that you want to see. You are the next generation, but always remember, you can't stop fashion.
Charisma and confidence. I am inspired by Maxine.
Truly. For those occasions when you wish to make a statement in style and comfort, let me introduce you to some wonderful designs by Melanin HQ.
Babylon, stop killing all my people. By the color of our skin, you think we're evil. Oh, this world isn't equal. No, this world isn't equal. Peace for protest, don't bring peace. You want start a war, we bring heat. We don't back down, we don't retreat. Injustice for the police. Babylon, stop killing all my people. By the color of our skin, you think we're evil. Oh, this world ain't equal. No, this world ain't equal. We are fire with fire. Yes, a knife for a knife. Just protect my people, protect I and I. People in power are too bad mind. People in power are too bad mind. Them a take with my life, can't take with my pride. You know ready when the revolution arise. We was march in the streets, now we fight in the fight. We don't hear much feet, stop your knives. Boy, I had a dream you can't visualize. What do you see when you look in her eyes? I'm a beautiful human, humans are blind. But in your world, if you can't hear all the cry,
please don't shoot me dead.
Babylon, stop killing all my people. By the color of our skin, you think we're evil. Oh, this world isn't equal. No, this world isn't equal. Yeah. Peace for protest, don't bring peace. You want start a war, we bring heat. We don't back down, we don't retreat. Injustice for the police. Kings and queens, be careful on the streets. They hate on us because melanin's in our genes. West Africa, the place that wanna test vaccines. Why they still on your neck when they hear you can't breathe? Racism at worst, we just see it on screens. Remember everything they took from our countries. House Trump president, they ain't even discreet. If it wasn't on camera, they change the stories. I'm black and I'm beautiful. I'm black and I'm strong. I'm black and I'm intelligent. Please don't do me wrong. I'm black and I'm gifted. I'm black and I'm proud. We will rise anytime you knock us down. My people, by the color of our skin, you think we're evil. Oh, this world isn't equal. No, this world isn't equal. Peace for protest, don't bring peace. You want start a war, we bring heat. We don't back down, we don't retreat. Injustice for the police. Stop killing all my people. By the color of our skin, you think we're evil. Oh, this world ain't equal. No, this world ain't equal. Peace for protest, don't bring peace. You want start a war, we bring heat. We don't back down, we don't retreat. Injustice for the police.
All I'm going to say, Ray, is that it was just so breathtaking to see the brothers being representing MHQ. Charlie, you're going to be seeing me soon. I want one of those statements, t-shirts or yes.
And she means it.
Uh-huh.
Since in the last episode, we've been in an acknowledged, a perceived cultural window, let's take you now a little further with some wonderful cultural history from Gina.
So what I've found about primary and secondary education in the UK is that it doesn't teach us to confront our past, but it teaches us to point the finger at the other atrocious past and histories of other countries, as if we're almost not involved. For example, in primary school we learn about the Tudors and the monarchs, and in high school we tend to learn about the 2 world wars, which Britain won. So there's an element of pride that we carry with our history, but we don't confront any of the atrocities that we've looked at. I was under the impression that slavery was only an American problem. It wasn't until I left high school that I learned Britain's crucial role in it all. So it's almost as though our history has been distorted and erased and manipulated to make Britain look like the winners every time. So I fully got into studying Caribbean and African history when I was doing my master's, which I just completed. And what shocked me the most is Britain's sense of entitlement and means of erasing and diluting Caribbean and African identities to become more palatable to the British public. If you ask anyone in Britain, for example, what is your understanding of a Caribbean person, they'll jump straight to reggae, they'll jump straight to the music and food, but also stereotypes. And it's not representative because the Caribbean is the original melting pot of the world, and a lot of that has been orchestrated by the British Empire. For example, Sean Paul is of Indian, African, Chinese, Portuguese descent, and the African, Indian, Chinese and Portuguese populations were orchestrated as labourers by the British, which is why there is such a diverse population in the Caribbean. And nobody knows that. So how am I meant to explain my own identity when there's so many historical factors that have not been acknowledged? My main inspiration for my dissertation is being constantly asked throughout my life, where are you from? No, where are you really from? My mother is Guyanese and my dad is Irish, and I've learnt all about my Guyanese side through the stories of my grandparents and ancestors. I've not learnt anything about Guyana from school, from literature, from anything we study. So that's why I wanted to provide any sort of academic research or prose on this identity that so few people know about, yet is so directed to the British Empire. I think it's really important to consider that in academia, especially, there is a massive whitewashing of history. A lot of literature is written by white European males, American males, and very few Guyanese people, very few Caribbean voices, and very few voices of the ancestors, of people's ancestors who have gone through this experience. So in my research I used a lot more oral methods and oral histories rather than relying on academic research, and I think we need to do more of that. There is a book called Inglorious Empire by Shashi Tharoor, who sort of outlines Britain's role in India and how Britain played a role in constructing the world's identity as it is today to an extent. Also British by Afua Hirsch is a book that resonated with me on so many levels because she too is mixed race and has had struggles with defining her own identity and claiming herself as British. There's also Natives by Carlyle, which is iconic and really useful for Caribbean history. But I find the most important and relevant resources are speaking to your family a lot of the time, speaking to your grandparents, listening to their stories, because although people can bring into question the accuracy of your family stories, what's stopping people from bringing in the accuracy of colonial and missionary records? Like, what are these based on? They're based on power, they're based on racial discrimination and capitalism. We need more oral histories and memories because there's a cultural amnesia that's orchestrated by British Empire, and no one perspective has more value than the other. Never hesitate in setting up a platform in which you can express your own voice, your own stories, your family stories and history, whether that's through writing, creative access, arts, anything. We need to represent ourselves because we can't rely on others to represent us, because histories are bound to be erased and edited to favour them. It's important that we share our own voices and experiences so that we can empower people to do the same. And it's only through doing so that we're going to be able to change this narrative and actually assert our own identities.
I'm so proud, Ray, to see our people really going into their culture, learning about our history, because like Marcus Garvey said, and guys, I'm just paraphrasing this, in order for you to know where you're going, you need to know where you've come from. So it's so important. So you know what, Gina, well done for that, because that was really powerful.
Definitely. I would like you now to engage in I.Kollection.
Touching you and you. Forever girl, when you ain't it, when you ain't it. It's the way I went, yeah, the way I hype on me, and you know I'm in a shy. Yeah, that body there is bad, you know it's true. And you know say it's me if you're there with you. Run me that soaking way, me have you open big wood, me throw in the middle. Make me take control of the middle. Nobody else me want, you know it's you, me say. I may want to be there with you in every kind of way. When I'm touching you and you touching me, forever.
Oh, I am so loving those shades. That just screams culture to me. And when I say shades, I don't mean shade, yeah, because I can give shade when I'm ready. I'm talking about shades, y'all.
You liked it then?
Of course.
Caz,
Ray.
we know everyone is now fully engaged.
Yes.
Let's take them a little further along this path with the wordplay of the poet Curmiah.
The revolution they didn't teach Essie, but she learned anyway. They plucked her brother Kofi from the dirt yard in front of her home, like petals from a rose, like a plant from its root. Shook and flung him onto the back of their truck, crossed the river into 7 seas to use his waxy skin as expensive fragrance to trade for guns and cloth and trinkets. They displaced him through voyage into western winds on a slave ship. They broke Kofi like herd, whipped his mother tongue and then saddled their girth with. They broke Kofi like herd, whipped his mother tongue and then saddled his girth with their own, reining his sense of self. They took his name and bred him new in their fields, turning him stallion to stud, running a race for masters, forgetting his divinity. They told him his worth was breeding mares and leaving foals in mother's care. They told him he wouldn't have to care for foals he had sired. They robbed him of family. They sent boy soldiers on another day, who tore Papa Kwame from the village, stripped him naked, nailed him to their baba tree, bore holes in his back with their bullets, had him bleed like mother's tomato stew before her eyes. Essie quivered inside the hut, no Kofi to block her ears or shut her eyes from seeing Papa bleed and hearing Mama cry. Then one day, Mama told her she would have to go to school at the mission atop the hill. Mama sold it as the place where all her dreams would come true. She sold it as magic. Mama sold school as the tool that would turn her into Mama's savior, like the picture of their white Jesus. School would teach her how to turn the raindrops in their water bucket into wine and how to multiply bread and fish to feed the village. At school, they taught her trauma, showed her pictures and videos of black men and boys who looked like Papa and Kofi being killed. Her only way out was to look within, to spirit, to close her eyes, place her hand on her heart, and remember times when Kofi's laugh drummed the yard at the pace of her heartbeat. Her way out was to close her eyes and reimagine Papa's love. And that's how Essie disrupted their anthills and made a mess of their colony. She went inside herself and asked her Yaba for strength, made the guards patrolling curious at how she bloomed. They tried to steal her magic to take her glow. Oh, but Kofi's laugh and Papa's love, oh, they spread through her like pollen. Until one day, the guards grew scared to touch her and told the village, "She dey do beye. She is a witch."
You know something? That was so expressive. It was, you know, it's so therapeutic when you put pen and paper together.
Sure.
That was so beautiful.
And now we're about to make our second visit to Kiannara. Really looking forward to what she has to offer.
soul on a track.
Baby, tell me, how was your day? Was it good or did they rain on your parade? Tell me, whisper in my ear, anything you want, because you're the man that I've dreamed of. I am mesmerized by your style, your grace, your charm, the king you are. Love me tenderly, sweet things, baby. Can you love me tenderly, sweet? Strawberry kisses, candy rain, cinnamon sugar, you're the sweetest things that you are, that you are. And I'm so grateful for you, loving me like you do, loving me like you do, loving me like you do. Let's kick it, take it back when, so we were just friends, and the show was with the loud. We'd hit it up, swing the trees, feel the breeze, sing just like those bees. Straight vibes and where you choose, straight, coolin' with you. Those days are these days, and I'm grateful for your candy rain, my king, your majesty reigns supreme. Love me tenderly, sweet things, baby. Love me tenderly, sweet things, baby. Love me tenderly, sweet things, baby. Love me tenderly. Sweet things, baby. Sweet things, baby. Sweet things, baby. Yeah. Sweet things, baby. Sweet things, baby. Sweet things, baby.
These looks are so creatively different. It just gets better and better.
Truly. Well, it is our pleasure now, because this is someone I know very well, Nubian Jack. We bring him to share with you his work.
So hello, my name is Dr. Jack Bieler, social distancing and all that stuff. I am the managing director of a brand called Nubian Jack, which involves statues, plaques, anything to commemorate in public realm the wonderful black rich history. I got into music, does honouring or get into work with folk who were unemployed, and I wanted to get qualified to teach them a little bit more about music. So I became a social worker, and it was while I was working as a social worker that I realised there were social, societal issues with the young people that I worked with that I felt we need to address this by giving them some positive role models. And that culminated in a board game called Nubian Jack, and that's where it all started for me. In fact, I've got one in my office I'd like to show you. It was, this is one of the copies of the board game. We did 120,000 copies of these over a 10-year period, and it was the very first black board game to get into Toys R Us and Hamleys. They called it the Truth and Proof. I call it Jack in a Box, for those reasons. It's called Nubian Jack because the design was based on the Union Jack, believe it or not. And here, if you can see, as this is the design program, you will see that we have the cross and the cross of St. George. By the way, St. George was a person of colour. And the next, St. Andrews, I believe, or was it St. Patrick? One of the two. But anyway, it is the Union flag, and I made it the Nubian flag, Jack-bean flag, of course. And there you go, Jack in the box. So these are one of the things that we thought we'd design for the young people who are in care, who didn't have positive role models. And 12 years later, it's a phenomenon. I actually designed a memorial which was supported by Her Maj, the Queen, who sent me a lovely little letter there, which is very nice. And that was because of this book I did called Remembered, which is all about a memorial, which this was made out of. And I'm actually going to take you, this is a little souvenir that I've kept, but I'm actually going to take you to the memorial and show you why it is the only memorial of its type in London. Not just London, the UK, in fact the whole world. This beauty is the Brixton Cenotaph, the only African and Caribbean war memorial in Britain, which honours the African and Caribbean presence to both world wars. Let's have a look. This is the standing stone, so this represents us, who are still standing, of course, those who still serve in the military, not that I'd ever do that. And this, of course, represents those who have gone on before us, who have made the ultimate sacrifice, the fallen. And on this obelisk is the name of every African and Caribbean regiment that served in both wars. It's a phenomenal piece of art, and it's on top of what can only be described as a pyramid, which is a beautiful, classic, futuristic monument in the heart of Black London. So I'm really proud to be the designer of this, and I'm really proud, even more proud, that we've left a legacy and we've memorialised the forgotten. And that's another design.
What a journey that was in regards to Nubian Jack. I mean, to be quite honest, I didn't even know about that game. With the blue plaques and all over different parts of the UK, around London, etc. I had no idea. No, so thank you, Nubian Jack, for that journey.
Yeah, he's doing good works.
Definitely. I can see that. How do we go to the end of the road? Still I can't let you go. Why are you so quiet? Oh, shoot. I didn't even realise.
Well, you just said it. We've come to the end of the road. But only in this segment. But we do so with pleasure in introducing the work of Fungai and Rufaro.
Yeah, I would write bars as a way for me to vent. At the time I couldn't see or realise the extent. The power of the word like we was in church. The devil was alive, take it down and repent. Watch who you rep and who you put on the throne. We ain't built the same like we got different bones. And as for these politicians, they can rot in prison before they will ever get my vote. I've been rapping for the wrong reasons. I was shoulders above to be competing. Had to change my flow to be more appealing to the little younglings on the block creeping. Yeah, I've been in the gym like it's off season. Like it's off season. Working on my talent, trying to find balance between being conscious and not preaching. But I've been getting close to the edge, I'm losing my head. I lose on my dreads, I shoot with the truth. Then want you to be dead, I move like a troop. So I came into the booth with a bulletproof vest. I feel used and abused, you looting the fruits of a labor to go on a cruise to Jamaica. But the gorillas on the block won't wait no later. Exodus. Oh yeah. Movement of the people. Going on, no man, let's say from, so make sure you suit up. There's there's a war going on you can't escape from, so make sure you're clued up. Yo, they're making me wanna burst this thing like when you keep on blowing a balloon up. Yo, some nights I felt the neck off my rooftop, scream out thug life just like Tupac. Yo, this the mass movement of people, we shifting the consciousness, trace of the evil. Yo, this battle was spiritual, biblical, don't think it won't get physical. Yo, grandma said Jesus is coming, but I cannot sit around waiting for miracles. Yo, hope is what keeps people paralyzed. Most of my family are living. See, I'm close to the edge, I'm losing my head, I lose on my dreads, I shoot with the truth. Then want you to be dead, I move like a troop, so I came into the booth with a bulletproof vest. I feel used and abused, you looting the fruits of a labor to go on a cruise to Jamaica. But the gorillas on the block won't wait no later.
Chale, yes. I'm loving the painted blazers. I'm feeling this. Like, talk about leave people wanting more, because I just want more peeps. I don't know about you guys, but you know something, want more.
I agree with that.
When I say I'm so proud of my people, trust me when I'm saying this, you know, guys, I do not lie. I mean, when you see what we have created, even with every struggle, every obstacle, the oppression that we've been through, we still continue to create and create and create. And we've seen this in Black Excellence Edition. Can't Stop Fashion is not just about pretty faces, good clothes, and listening to new music. It's about you guys getting involved, subscribing, sharing, everything that you've seen, comment as well. And make sure you also contribute by donating to the causes that we sincerely hold nearest to our hearts. And remember, you don't have to break a bank. You can just even contribute just £1. £1 could make a huge difference, right?
Well, as we said right at the beginning, every little helps. And there is so much in our particular historical narrative to celebrate, to respect, to honor. We have a history that belongs to us and us only, and we have to remember that. And this particular examination of our history and culture is exactly what we're asking you to support. Well, we find ourselves in a moment, pandemic times it's called, where serious issues are being discussed globally.
Yes, definitely.
There is no community which is unaffected. And there are issues which are being brought to the table which previously could have been ignored. But we have to look also at issues as what is happening in Nigeria, where it is our people, it is ordinary people, victims of brutality. So this has been an exercise in us examining a little part of our culture. There is much more for us to concentrate on. And we thank you for having spent the time. We hope that you will register your interest by contributing, by following up the information which is available
on our bios.
Both of our bios. And please stay with us. Together we are strong.
So guys, thank you so much for staying with us. We are a part of the iLive Radio family, where we have presented to you both part 1 and 2. You can always catch myself, Caz Mac,
and Ray Hendricks
on iLive Radio UK, changing the way that you listen to radio.
You can get old. Look in my eyes, you can see my soul. What you will find is I don't
leave a print, like Neil when he landed on the moon. Cause every man got a purpose, we all just got different size shoes. So most nights I'll be staring at the night sky, talking to the stars, like there's so many other planets out there. Why on earth would you bother with ours, man? What makes us unique? What is it that you seek? Or is it that I serve? Are you a pirate? Cause we be digging for that long lost treasure, but the more I dig, the more I find dirt. Like there is no destination, just a one-way ticket to forever, and nobody seems to give an explanation, yo. And I'm talking since forever, just a mountain of questions like Kilimanjaro. But I'm a killer man with a biro. The way I write verses, the way I write hooks, the way these punchlines strike like right hooks, take his breath away like damn, you wrote that. We bringing hope back into humanity by living outside the walls of reality, chasing my dream, hoping time never catches me. Hoping time never catches me. Hoping time never captures me.